Happiness, that elusive feeling we all pursue, is often imagined as something tied to circumstance, a reward for luck, success, or perfect conditions. But what if happiness is less about what happens to us and more about how we choose to respond? To explore this idea, let's journey through the life of an old woman named Amira, whose story offers gentle wisdom on finding happiness in every situation. Amira lived in a quiet village, nestled between rolling hills and shimmering lakes. Her cottage was small, with wildflowers blooming at the windows and birds chirping in the morning. She had lived a long life, filled with joys and sorrows, moments of abundance and stretches of scarcity. Yet those who knew her marveled at the serenity that seemed to radiate from her presence. Children would gather at her feet, asking for stories, while adults sought her advice during difficult times. Everyone wondered, what was her secret to happiness? When she was a girl, Amira's family was poor. Her father worked the fields and her mother baked bread to sell at the market. One year, a storm destroyed their crops, leaving them with little food and less hope. Amira watched her parents worry, their faces lined with fear. But each morning, her mother would still sing as she kneaded dough, filling the kitchen with warmth and laughter. "We may not have much," her mother would say, "but we have each other, and that is enough." Amira learned, even in hardship, happiness could be found in gratitude for what remained. As the years passed, Amira faced many trials. She lost friends to illness, her dreams to circumstances beyond her control. There were days of heartbreak and nights of loneliness. Yet she discovered that happiness was not a constant state, but a series of choices, small decisions to focus on the good, even when the world felt heavy. She practiced noticing the beauty around her, the sun rising after a storm, the taste of fresh bread, the gentle touch of a hand in hers. One story in particular captured the essence of Amira's outlook. When she was 60, her only son left for a distant city to find work, leaving her alone in her cottage. Many neighbors pitied her, certain she must feel abandoned. But Amira would smile and wave from her garden, tending to her roses and herbs. One day a neighbor asked, "Amira, how are you so happy when you are alone?" Amira replied, "When I miss my son, I remember how proud I am of him. I imagine the adventures he must be having, the new friends he is making. Every time I water my garden, I think of sending my love to him wherever he may be. My heart is full, even when my home is quiet." Her neighbor listened, realizing that Amira's happiness came from her perspective, not from the presence or absence of someone else, but from the way she chose to think about her situation. Amira's life was not without sadness, but she had a habit that helped her weather every storm. Each evening, before she went to bed, she would sit by her window and reflect on 3 good things that happened that day. Sometimes they were grand: a visit from an old friend, a letter from her son. More often, they were simple: the scent of lavender drifting through her room, the laughter of children playing outside, the satisfaction of finishing a knitting project. This practice kept her mind attuned to joy, even when life felt difficult. As she grew older, her wisdom became a beacon for the villagers. People began to visit her, seeking advice on how to be happy in their own lives. Amira would listen quietly, her eyes kind and patient. She never offered quick fixes or empty platitudes. Instead, she shared her belief that happiness is like a garden. It requires tending, patience, and a willingness to see beauty in unexpected places. She would say, "Life will bring troubles and joys, victories and losses. We cannot control every event, but we can choose our response. When sadness comes, allow yourself to feel it. Let your heart grieve, but don't let it close. Then look for the small lights, moments of kindness, memories that comfort, the promise of a new day. Happiness is not the absence of pain, but the presence of hope." The villagers began to adopt Amira's habits. Some kept gratitude journals, others made a point to help someone each day. They found that happiness flourished when shared, when they encouraged others, offered a listening ear, or celebrated small victories together. One winter, a heavy snowstorm blanketed the village, cutting off roads and leaving many houses cold. Supplies ran low, and spirits dropped. Amira gathered her neighbors in her cottage, sharing stories and soup. As they sat together, warmed by the fire, she reminded them, "In every difficulty, there is an opportunity to come together, to care for each other. Let's find joy in our togetherness." Her words echoed through the village, and soon people began helping one another, sharing food, clearing paths, singing songs by candlelight. Despite the harshness of the season, the community discovered that happiness could thrive, even in adversity. Amira's story teaches us that happiness is not a distant goal, reserved for perfect circumstances. It is woven into everyday life, waiting to be noticed. To be happy in every situation, we must practice gratitude, seek meaning in challenge, and choose compassion, for ourselves and for others. Her life reminds us that happiness grows when we focus on what we have rather than what we lack, and when we cherish the present moment, even as we hope for the future. It deepens when we accept sadness as part of life, allowing ourselves to feel and heal without losing sight of hope. It multiplies when we share it, reaching out, listening, offering kindness, and celebrating together. And above all, it flourishes when we decide, each day, to look for the good, to nurture joy in our hearts, and to build a life anchored not in circumstance, but in choice. As Amira would say, happiness is a gentle light within us. In every season, every challenge, every change, we can tend that light, allowing it to shine through kindness, gratitude, and hope. In doing so, we discover that happiness is not something to be found, but something to be created, moment by moment, choice by choice, story by story. So let us remember Amira's wisdom and practice happiness, wherever life may take us, in every situation. I hope today's story will serve as encouragement for those who are unable to find joy in life. May you always choose to think positively, regardless of the circumstances.